You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Hey, it's Ian Ballinger from the Free Stater here on the Lanterns Radio Network. Now, most people listen to the show when it goes up every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time on Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, or even on your iPhone podcast app. But you can also listen to the show over at lanterns.buzz. That's lanterns.buzz, where the show plays on replay every weekday and weekend at 11 a.m. Central Time. Every day throughout the week, you can listen to the replay of the show on the lanterns.buzz radio stream. Aha! 11 a.m. Central Time and 3 a.m. in the morning. Just fantastic times. If you're driving out late, you can listen to the show. And if you're waking up in the morning, driving to work, going to lunch during work, whatever, show's available for you to listen to right there on replay. That's lanterns.buzz. And while you're over there, I encourage you to check out some of the other great shows that the Lanterns Radio Network has to offer. You've got Bells of Liberty, Todd Huff Radio, Battle for Freedom, Patriot Politics, Defenders of American Exceptionalism, The HoloNet, Fires of Liberty, Battlefield Live, The Conservative Syndicate, and many other special programs. You may have heard back during CPAC even, they did a huge live stream, continuous coverage of CPAC. Go to lanterns.buzz for great content. We're here to fix the machine. Lanterns.buzz. The world's gone mad. This is the Free Stater. True conservatism, constitutionalism, may be in the minority now when it comes to the dialogue on political affiliation, but that doesn't mean we stop fighting. We fight for principles over party, values over politicians, and truth over feelings. You've entered a state of freedom. This is the Free Stater. From Nikita Vladimirov on campusreform.org. College hosts a welcome event for illegal immigrant students on campus. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Welcome, by the way, to the program. This is the Free Stater. I'm Ian Ballinger from the plains of the great state of Kansas. If you hear a fan in the background, it's because I got it on pointed at my dog. His name is Buddy. He's a golden retriever. He just got out of surgery yesterday. Just got to finally bring him home. We're super excited to have him home. So, sorry not sorry. We're keeping him cool. It's humid out. It's hot out. Gosh, it's been so hot lately in the Midwest. So humid. Anyway, students and administrators at a California community college recently held a series of workshops welcoming illegal immigrant students to campus. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ian, why aren't you talking about North Korea? Everyone's talking about North Korea. Well, see, that's kind of the reason why. Everyone's talking about North Korea. Now, I'm going to be honest with you before we delve deep into the issue I have with illegal immigration and the issue I have with higher education for more or less condone illegal immigration. So many institutes of higher education are condoning illegal immigration. Before we delve deep into that, I'd be lying if I said that the North Korea situation didn't scare me. I mean, let's face it. Our parents were scared of the Cuban Missile Crisis. There's always been this lingering fear. Remember the day after that movie? I mean, I don't remember it. I wasn't born yet. But I remember people in my life, adults, talking about it. What's funny, actually, is that movie, The Day After, and for those of you who don't know, The Day After was a movie that was put on ABC about the mid-1980s, the U.S. on the brink of nuclear war, and the shadow looming, this is the synopsis over on Google, looming over residents of a small town in Kansas as they continue on in their daily lives. It's crazy, the film was actually filmed in the town I'm going to college in less than 5 days. So, forever, we've been, I guess you could say, conditioned to be afraid, and it's a rightful fear. The idea of nuclear war is a rightful fear. I think we should be more worried about an EMP, using a nuke as an EMP. Do we recover from that? Do we recover from our electrical grid going down and not coming back up, or at least not coming back up for a very, very long time? If ever? Well, that's a scary idea. That's a scary prospect. Yeah, it is. It scares me. I mean, everything. Think of an aspect of your life that is not in some way influenced by electricity or relies solely on electricity. So there's that. We got that to worry about. But then we move over to the Middle East, where Christians are being persecuted and homosexuals are being thrown off roofs. Muslims who aren't Muslim enough are being killed. Families are being sold into slavery. We've talked about the Nazarene Fund frequently on this show. We run an ad, a little spot about the Nazarene Fund on the show. Not always, but in between breaks, to spread awareness. Here's the thing, guys. A large portion, a lot of people in our society do not care about these issues. In fact, disturbingly, a lot of them think that we're in the wrong for being concerned about these issues. I want to play this video that I saw come up on my Facebook feed of a woman who's blaming the United States for what's happening in this North Korea situation and how the United States is in the wrong and how, hey, you shouldn't defend yourself, guys. You started this. And then you have people, these talking heads on the mainstream media networks talking about how this is Trump's fault if he doesn't back up what he said. It's like they're egging him on. Do it, Trump. Do it. Strike first. Or maybe not strike first, but come on, Trump, back up your words. And then, of course, we all know that if anything actually does happen, if anything does escalate, it's going to be Trump's fault. It's going to be Trump's fault. Everyone who's listened to this show knows that I am not the biggest fan of Donald Trump as a constitutionalist conservative. Everyone who has listened to this show since election season last year knows that I'm not really the biggest fan of Donald Trump. That doesn't mean, however, that I won't give him credit where credit is due. Personally, I don't know. I think he's handled this North Korea situation okay. let's be honest, we've delegitimized North Korea as a society here in America, as a culture, for a very long time. At least that's what I've noticed, at least personally, especially on social media. Remember when North Korea was doing the nuclear tests? What was it, like 2013 or whatever? And you would see these GIFs over on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and people would post pictures of the news link where it said, Kim Jong-un tests intercontinental ballistic missile or whatever. And they would post a joke reaction GIF of like a bottle rocket, or like a pitiful little rocket, like you would stamp on your foot and the air would propel it into the air, that kind of stuff. People made a joke out of it. Well, now it's not a joke. And now it's not a joke, and now it's the Republicans' fault. Now it's Donald Trump's fault. It's ridiculous. We haven't taken them seriously forever as a society. Personally, I think we should have been worried from the beginning. I think a lot of people were. I think a lot of people on the conservative side were. It's the same thing that's happening with the whole Russia thing. Remember Mitt Romney talking about Russia? Oh, cold 1980s want their policy back, Donald Trump would say. Or Barack Obama, I'm sorry about that, would say. And now that Donald Trump is tight, he's tight with Vladimir Putin. Oh, we hate Russia, says the left. And to be honest, you know what? Yeah, Vladimir Putin, not a great guy. Probably not somebody that we want the U.S. president to be hanging around with, palling around with. Then back to that refugee Middle East issue. You know, organizations run by conservatives, like the Nazarene Fund, that's run by Mercury Radio Arts, donated millions of dollars, took donations from millions of people, conservative audiences, and let's recognize, I'm sure not all of the donations, I'm sure not all the donors came only solely from conservatives. But who was it promoting it? It was Glenn Beck. It was The Blaze. It was Mercury Radio Arts. Not against helping refugees. Let's vet them first. Let's make sure that they don't have ties to terrorism. And let's not just let them all flood in. Let's not just let military-aged adult men who come from an area where the ideology, we're speaking specifically about ideology. This has nothing to do with race, but the left wants to paint you as a racist if you want to vet people flooding into your country. So we got a culture issue in the United States. A really big culture issue. Is it as big a problem as North Korea? I think it contributes to the ever-growing number of problems that we have in the United States. Because as leftism grows, as cultural Marxism grows, as millennials just falling in love with socialism grows, so too does the attitude that, hey, it's the United States' fault, North Korea is doing nothing wrong. So too does that grow. And that's a scary, scary prospect in the United States. And so, yes, we start with a talk on culture. College hosts welcome event for illegal immigrant students from Campus Reform by Nikita Vladimirov. Students and administrators at a California community college recently held a series of workshops welcoming illegal immigrant students to campus. The event was organized by a student group called the Dreamers Club, but received assistance from several school departments, as well as an endorsement from the school's president. Oh, that is just great. Students and administrators at a California community college recently held a series of workshops welcoming illegal immigrant students to campus. According to the school's newspaper, talonmarks.com, as it were, the Dreamers Club at Cerritos College held the 4-hour event on August 5th with the intent on assisting freshman students who are slated to start the fall semester in the coming weeks. But the newspaper noted that the workshop contained information sessions about classes, presentations by immigration attorneys, and other resources. I've been getting a lot of help today. One student told Talon Marks, I've been getting help with applying for the AB application. Student Government President Karen Patron told Campus Reform that the Dreamers Welcome Day was beneficial. That's what she said. It was, quote, beneficial to current and incoming students. I'm happy to see that our campus is supportive of undocumented students. That's my least favorite term. They're not just undocumented. They are here illegally. See, the left wants you to believe that conservatives hate immigrants. No. Don't hate immigration. I don't even hate illegal immigrants. I hate illegal immigration. I don't hate illegal immigrants. I just don't want them here illegally. Oh, but you're a racist if you believe that. I'm going to have so much fun at college. Going to be facing this stuff straight on. How fun is that going to be? And you know what's even more fun? This is going to be my last week out here in the country, out here from the plains of Kansas. Now, it'll be from Lawrence, Kansas. A city and an area filled with great history. A history that I fear is by some forgotten, or not understood by the students who go to the University of Kansas. Oh, no. Let's not worry about North Korea. Let's not worry about all the issues that we see throughout the world. Let's worry about appealing to our quote-unquote students who are not here legally. According to the school's website, the AB 540 task force, named for a 2001 state law allowing immigrants to receive in-state tuition if they attended high school in California, is a working group of staff, faculty, and management who meet on the regular to discuss the challenges of undocumented students and implemented strategies to reach out to this population of students and increase awareness of resources and success in college. It's going to be politically incorrect. A lot of people my age don't like it when somebody else points this out. They don't have a right to be here. They don't have a right to that in-state tuition. The immigrants who came here legally do. I honestly think there are a lot of leftists who don't know the difference between legal and illegal immigration because they just put the two together and say conservatives hate all immigration. That is not true at all. There are plenty of immigrants from a multitude of countries who I would love to call my fellow American. Jonathan Dunn is one of them. Jonathan Dunn is one of them from Freedom's Disciple on the Blaze. Friend of mine, helped me get in with the Lanterns Radio Network. Jonathan can't get in. He doesn't qualify. He doesn't meet the standards or whatever. He loves America more than a lot of Americans do. We've talked about this several episodes ago. He loves America more than a lot of Americans do. He doesn't meet the standards to come in. He doesn't meet the qualifications to come in. But our institutes of higher education are going to condone and advocate for illegal immigration. The disrespect of the American system. And you hear all the time about how these illegal immigrants, they come over and they do the jobs that Americans won't do. Well, that's not true. I want to share with you this video from Steven Crowder of Louder with Crowder. He did a hidden camera video. Let's take a listen, and then we'll go to break.
You guys have papers? How many times have we been guilted into the old mantra that illegal immigrants are doing the jobs Americans just won't take?
I see people gathered on street corners, okay? Some guy in a truck comes over and says, I'll pay you $10 if you work all day.
They're doing the jobs you don't want to fucking do.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
We should pay them.
How disgusting is that? That's an advocation. Is that not slavery? So is the left saying, hey, you know what? New slaves. If the immigrants aren't going to do it, who is? That's disgusting. But if a right-wing person had said that, oh, the world would be on fire, the media would be on fire, they'd be calling for his job, they'd be calling for his marriage, they'd be calling for his kids. Maybe not that far, but you get what I'm saying. Actually, some people probably would. Have you seen Twitter?
Give them a decent salary because this is America.
You want to get rid of illegal immigrants? Quit eating.
This country has been importing new slave labor.
They're competing with Americans who wouldn't accept $10 a day to work in those jobs.
But is that actually true? It's no secret that many law-abiding Americans feel left out in the cold, with some studies like this one from Harvard showing an annual earnings decrease of close to $1,400 due to illegal immigration. But hey, if these aliens are doing worse jobs for lower pay, isn't it our own fault? We decided to put it to the test and head on down to our local illegal employment office. Good news for us is, right off the bat, it sounded like wages we'd be thrilled to take.
You can make $400 2 days? 3 days. 3 days a month?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that. The audio's a little blurry. $400. This is an illegal immigrant speaking here, right? Crowder and his producer, Jared, went over. They did this hidden camera video. $400 in 3 days at most. And you're telling me that those are jobs Americans, quote, won't do? Huh.
Damn, bro.
$400 in 3 days? Damn, bro, that's like $280 take home.
Undocumented people in this country do contribute to America, and they do so by paying their taxes.
Only...
No.
Really?
How much of that you paying taxes? I'm joking, bro. I don't pay nothing.
Okay, wait, so...
Alright, so if you didn't hear that, there was... Again, I know the audio's blurry. He asked him, how much do you pay in taxes? The guy said, I don't pay nothing. That's incredible. They're feeding you lies, guys.
This guy's take-home was $400 for 3 days. And this guy wouldn't take anything less than $160 for 6 hours.
Let's go, yeah. For 6 hours? Yeah, man. For 6 hours? I do 130.
Let's do some math here. $160 divided by 6 equals about $26.66 an hour. Tax-free. Accounting for an average work week of around 40 hours, that comes out to somewhere around $1,066.40 per week. He could make anywhere from between $45,000 to $56,000 per year, tax-free. Add to that fact that 58% of illegal immigrants in Texas alone are on some form of welfare, and heck, you could live like a Mayan king. All at the taxpayer's dime, of course, costing us an additional whopping $50 billion per year. But pointing out math is racist, and we wouldn't want to be racist, right? We should learn to be more inclusive, like our loving Mexican brethren.
La raza. I heard him just yell to you, La raza. Is it like this? No. Why don't you go? Why don't you do lakeside? Nah. Okay, it's nothing. That's cool, man. Cool. It's like people. Cool, bro.
All right. So it was talking about inclusion and how Americans are racist if they criticize illegal immigration, and how we're just looking for more diversity. More diversity. And these minorities coming over, they love diversity. Well, La raza is a term used to describe, this according to the Crowder video, brown pride / supremacy. We're not being screwed over at all. We're not being screwed over at all, guys.
Okay, so they kind of hate white people. Who among us doesn't? Turns out they liked it even less when some Americans like us were willing to do the jobs. For less than $25 an hour tax-free.
120? Yeah. 120? Okay. 6 hours? 110. 110? You're not going to do 100, right? We'll do 100.
All right, so Crowder and his producer are standing by a truck. The legal immigrants are saying this, and they're saying they'll do it for less.
110. We're 100. 120. Yeah, we're 100. We're cheaper. 100. No one's doing 100 here.
We're not unreasonable. Heck, we just wanted to fight for $15.
$100? A piece? Yeah. A piece? We got two. We'll do for 90. 85. We'll do 75, bro. It's not like that. 70? Yeah. All day? Yep. 65. Better than minimum wage. We'll do 65.
60?
Okay. 60.
60.
Fucking get in the back. 60 bucks. 100 for 6 hours. We'll take it. We'll take it. I got kids at home, bro. I'll do 60 all day. How does that work? I'm not too prideful to work 85 for 6 hours.
Yeah.
All day. All day.
Put it up for 8.
All day.
Bongo! So what do we learn here? Mostly that, contrary to what the media tells us, these individuals don't necessarily have a great affinity for American pride, paying taxes, white people, or good old competition. And as for just how we knew that these people were here illegally, call it a hunch.
Hey, you guys have papers? You guys have papers? I need papers. Do you have papers?
He's gonna call ICE, you motherfuckers!
And right after they say that, the illegal immigrants start jumping out of the back of the truck and trying to get away. Okay, no, and I recommend you go to crtv.com and subscribe to get louder with Crowder, Mark Levin's show, Michelle Malkin's show. They got great shows over there. crtv.com/mug club. They have fantastic shows over there. Yeah, like I said, we're not being screwed over, guys. It's all just an illusion.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Hey, it's Ian Ballinger from the Free Stater here on the Lanterns Radio Network. Now, most people listen to the show when it goes up every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time on Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, or even on your iPhone podcast app. But you can also listen to the show over at lanterns.buzz. That's lanterns.buzz, where the show plays on replay every weekday and weekend at 11 a.m. Central Time. Every day throughout the week, you can listen to the replay of the show on the lanterns.buzz radio stream. Aha! 11 a.m. Central Time and 3 a.m. in the morning. Just fantastic times. If you're driving out late, you can listen to the show. And if you're waking up in the morning, driving to work, going to lunch during work, whatever, show's available for you to listen to right there on replay. That's lanterns.buzz. And while you're over there, I encourage you to check out some of the other great shows that the Lanterns Radio Network has to offer. You've got Bells of Liberty, Todd Huff Radio, Battle for Freedom, Patriot Politics, Defenders of American Exceptionalism, The HoloNet, Fires of Liberty, Battlefield Live, The Conservative Syndicate, and many other special programs. You may have heard back during CPAC even, they did a huge live stream, continuous coverage of CPAC. Go to lanterns.buzz for great content. We're here to fix the machine. Lanterns.buzz.
From the Division of Family and Children's Services goes to a school to pick up a 7-year-old little girl and takes her to another county. The only problem is that worker picked up the wrong child. The little girl's father says he was shocked to find out that his daughter's school released her to a stranger. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes has followed this story all day long today, and she joins us now live. Deidre, the father tells you that the girls had similar names.
Yeah, the girls have similar names, but they're spelled a little differently, and of course the birth dates are different, and the father...
As if that is an excuse. Welcome back to the Free Stater. So this story from Gwinnett County in Georgia, Gwinnett County Schools and DFCS investigate a child release mix-up. A worker from the Division of Family and Children's Services goes to a school. They pick up an 8-year-old girl, takes her all the way to another county. But they got the wrong girl. Oh. So I was listening to this interview the father did. His name is Sean Harris. Did with Glenn Beck this morning on the radio. So he got his kid back. DFCS never apologized. Basically what their director said to him was, hey, you got your kid back. Let's just move on. You got your kid back? Not a scratch on it. Just move on. Well, no. Well, welcome to America in 2017, where the government is so big, they don't have to apologize for taking your child without letting you know out of the county and out of school. If they had even just taken her out of the classroom, still don't think I'd be very happy. Maybe it's me, right? I'm not a father. I'm not a father yet. Old Ian ain't a father yet. He don't know what he's talking about. Well, hey, if I was a father, I'd be pretty... there's words that I'm not allowed to say because we try to stick to FCC regulations here on the Lanterns Radio Network. I'd be pretty upset. That's the politically correct way of saying it. I'd be pretty mad. Gee whiz. Be a little more than pretty mad. Let's continue.
Says that his daughter never should have been turned over to the state. How did Sean Harris's daughter wind up in DFACS custody for several hours Tuesday afternoon after being checked out of school by a DFACS employee?
They told me that a representative from Rockdale DFACS had picked up my daughter.
It was a disturbing case of mistaken identity. Harris's 7-year-old daughter and the student a DFACS worker was supposed to pick up from Rosebud Elementary School in Loganville have the same name.
Which there's 2 children with the same name, different birthdays, but the spelling of first names are different.
The mistake only coming to light when Harris showed up at his daughter's daycare center to pick her up after school and learned she wasn't there. Harris called the school as he raced to campus. He said they initially told him his daughter was accidentally sent to the wrong daycare, but eventually admitted what happened as a DFACS employee drove his daughter back to school. Harris upset his child could have been put in harm's way.
If DFACS is picking up a child, they're picking up for a reason, which could have possibly meant that that child could have been in danger of some sort, and she could have actually been put in harm's way by you having the wrong child. So now you have two families that could be in a distressed situation.
In a written statement, a Gwinnett School spokesperson said, quote, "This is a very serious situation, and this family's concerns are understandable. In addition to investigating this incident, the school system is reviewing its processes for releasing students to DFACS, making sure these processes are being followed, and will be working with this agency to ensure this does not happen again." While Harris is pleased with the school district's response, he says staff at DFACS Rockdale office he talked to after the incident were dismissive.
There should be other measures in place, such as checking a date of birth, further investigating with the administration inside the school, which they didn't do. They just took her.
Now, Mr. Harris told us that it was his understanding that he was going to speak to a DFACS administrator sometime this afternoon. There was supposed to be a phone call made, but he told me late this afternoon that that had not happened. We were also assured that we would receive some sort of a written statement by DFACS before our 5 o'clock newscast. That had not happened, and we're still waiting for that written statement from DFACS in regards to this case. That's the latest here in Atlanta. I'm Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News. All right.
Oh, no, the government's not too big at all, guys. Government doesn't have too much power. The government's so big, we don't have time to even apologize to you insignificant little peasants. We can just take your kid right out of school and not even tell you. And we got the wrong kid. Not only does that show how dangerously big our government is, it also shows how incompetent government is. But they're your protectors. They protect your children. That's what they're for. Right. Fascinating interview from the Glenn Beck radio program. Sean went over, did an interview with the Glenn Beck radio program over on The Blaze. Sean Harris interviewed. Just a fascinating interview. I want you to listen to it. We're going to share it with you right now. I encourage you, though, to hear the full show. Go over to theblaze.com, sign up. Their subscription process, yeah, I know not everybody can sign up for a subscription. I encourage you to. Great conservative media network. And if you're not able to subscribe right now, 2-week free trial over on theblaze.com. They don't even require credit card. 2-week free trial. Encourage you to get over theblaze.com/TV. Sign up for a 14-day free trial. No credit card required. At least right now, that's what I've been sharing with a lot of my friends. Let's listen to this interview because it's a fascinating interview to hear from the father. It really is.
This horrible situation in Georgia, just a suburb of Atlanta, where a dad goes to pick up his 7-year-old daughter from school. She's not in the after-school program. In fact, they check in and go, wow, no, she wasn't even on the bus coming here. They call the school. School gives them the runaround. Dad immediately knows, okay, something really bad is happening. He calls 911, gets into the car, can't even imagine being him driving to the school. He gets to the school. They're still giving him the runaround. The police show up, takes them 20 minutes before the school finally says, oh, okay, she was taken by the state. What do you mean she was taken by the state? She was taken by, I don't remember what they called it there, but it's basically the Department of Children and Family Services. DFACS, I think they call it. And she's returned later in the afternoon. The daughter is freaked. As you can imagine, this isn't the first time this has happened. And it's not going to be the last time. And DFACS in Georgia hasn't even called the dad back. The attitude when he called was, look, you got your daughter back. Everything is fine. I have to tell you, I am not a violent man by any stretch of the imagination. You've kidnapped my child and took them into another county. I don't care who the hell you are. As a protective animal, I would have had a hard time with restraint. I would have had a really hard time.
Several stories like that lately. I have no idea how Charlie Gard's parents made it through that.
I don't either.
I have no freaking idea.
I don't either.
And, you know, I don't know what it ends in. I mean, because it just might be complete self-destruction. You're at that point of, like, I would completely break down every 10 seconds.
And I want to note here something Stu pointed out there. There is a disturbing amount of stories lately about government stepping in. Yeah, the Charlie Gard case isn't in the United States. That was a UK situation. But there is still this feeling of totalitarianism, authoritarianism that is terrifying. You had that case up in Oregon recently. What's happening to our soul as a civilization?
And all you'd want to do is beat the crap out of everybody. In this sort of situation, you would. You shouldn't, obviously.
It's your child.
Yeah, but it's your instinct.
You have to remember, the reason why the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is so valid is because the Second Amendment is not really talking about guns. I mean, it is, but it's more than that. It is the right to defend yourself and your family. That is a natural right. That is that right is in every animal. Go up and pet the pretty little kitties. They're lions, and Mom will rip you to shreds, and Dad will feast on you. It's a natural right to protect your children. And the state expects you just to say, oh, okay, well, you did what I would, and so would everyone in the country, deem kidnapping.
Okay, so we're going to skip ahead a little in the show, in the podcast, and get to the interview part. But before we get to the interview with the father, here is another interview they did with an officer talking about the situation and how terrible this is. Let's take a listen in.
No, I'm a state certified officer. I'm not going to say with which department.
Okay, all right.
Trouble.
Okay.
But yes, I hope they do have a great lawyer. I had to call you when I heard about this because the number of times we run into defects and the horror stories I could fill your head with, you wouldn't sleep at night. You wouldn't, Glenn. I've had to call them out at 3 a.m. for a child wandering the streets. We can't find Mom because she went to go get high. And Mom shows back up an hour later, and defect's like, well, Mom's there, so we're not going to come out. We'll deal with it Monday. But this is Friday night. What happens to this child in the meantime? Mom's here. She knows what's going on. And then I've had to stop defects workers who did almost the same thing here, where they call us because of a disorderly parent. Well, you have the wrong child. And in this case, I would have arrested this defects worker for kidnapping. It fits every
really
in the book for it.
Really? Thank you. Thank you.
I would have, because especially if the father was upset, because I'm like, hey, look, what do you want me to do? Because I'm your service here. Defects is clearly screwed up. 90% of the workers we run into don't give a flying hoot about doing anything, really. They want to do their paycheck, they'll do their follow-up reports, and once in a while they'll do something great. And I'm sure there's some defects workers out there who are great, but I haven't run into them.
See, that's just an incredible interview from an officer. And it goes to show the government, these people don't care. Very few care about you, if any. You heard him. It's about the paycheck, about the money. Do you even think they care that they got the wrong kid? That's what's so disturbing about this, among the many other atrocities that are part of this story. Let's hear the interview with the father, and then we'll see you next week.
Glenn Beck, the Blaze Radio Network.
From the Atlanta area, Sean Harris, the dad of a 7-year-old girl who he dropped off at school, went to pick her up, and she was gone. Without skipping to the end of the story, let me pick it up to Sean. You thought this was a normal day and everything was going to be fine, right?
Yes, I did.
And then you go and pick her up, and what happens?
I went to her after-school care to pick her up as always, so about 3:20 in the afternoon. When I got there, it told me that her bus had just arrived, so they called her on the PA. And I went to the back where I would normally pick her up in either a classroom or the cafeteria area, if not on the playground. and I could not find her. So I came back to the front, and they acknowledged that they looked at the roll call and realized that, in fact, she was not on that bus. So they then called her elementary school, at which time they kind of gave the runaround. They wouldn't answer any specific questions and continued putting them on hold, at which time they then just hung up on the daycare. So I immediately got in my vehicle and raced over to her school while calling 911 en route to have a police officer there to look out for and to also respond to me when I got there.
Okay, hang on just a second. As you're going there, all you know at this point is the school may know something, but they're not telling, the daycare, and you don't know what's happening. What is going through your mind on what you think at this point is happening?
Sheer panic. So once I got to the school, made contact with the vice principal and demanded to know where my child was. They then told me that she was okay and she was en route. So as a concerned parent, I asked, where is she and where had she been? I was told that she was put on the bus taken to a different after-school care. And I asked again, well, which aftercare facility was this? They couldn't tell me. And then after another 5 minutes or so of frustration on my part, they then decided we needed to tell him the truth.
Okay, stop. At this point, when you are talking to the school, are you thinking somebody screwed up?
Well, see, that's the thing, and I want to, sorry to cut it in there, need to tell them the truth. They weren't even being straight with him. If you're a parent, this should infuriate you.
And put her on another bus that somehow or another you guys haven't been watching where my daughter was? Were you getting feelings that something else is going on?
No, I just had straight confusion as far as not understanding where she was or how she could have gotten on the wrong bus. She's very familiar with her bus that she takes. She's been going to that facility since she's been 2 years old, the aftercare facility, so she's very familiar with the proper bus that she needed to catch.
So how much time has gone by now between the time that you first find out your daughter is not at school, not where she's supposed to be, to, I assume the police have arrived now and are there with you?
Yes.
And how much time has transpired until you are given the truth?
I would say about 20 minutes.
And your daughter, when does she call you?
She didn't call at that time when I was speaking to the vice principal. They told me that the Rockdale County DFACS office had picked her up inadvertently by mistake. There's another child at the school with the same name. The first names are spelled differently, however, and there's a 2-year age difference with different birthdays. So when I instructed the administration of the elementary school to contact that DFACS worker who, in fact, had her, I needed to speak to my daughter. So they contacted the driver that came and picked her up and put my daughter on the phone. When she got on the phone, I asked if she was okay, and she was visibly, audibly shaken. She was crying. I could tell she was panicking. I just tried to comfort her and told her that she would be with me momentarily. And I then asked the driver what would their estimated arrival time be, and she stated 20 to 30 minutes, which she had actually took her to a different county. They subsequently came to the school. It was probably about 4:20 at this time. I immediately laid eyes on my daughter, ensured that she was okay, and quickly asked the driver what was their protocol for identifying students before they pick them up. And I asked her, did they have a photo or any other identifying measures in which to identify the proper child which they're going to pick up? And she just stated that the paper said the name and the birth date, and at no time had anyone ever cross-referenced to see that the spellings were different, as well as a 2-year age difference and different birthdays.
Okay.
We then...
Sean, hang on just a second. I don't know about you, but I got a buttload of problems here, and it's not just that they didn't check the birthday and they picked up the wrong child. I am assuming, Sean, that you have taught your child, don't get into the car with strangers. What kind of trauma has your daughter gone through? What kind of trauma has your daughter gone through? How did they approach her in the first place? Who told her? How did she know she wasn't being kidnapped by a bad guy?
She went reluctantly, of course, but of course it was part of the school system that she felt that was taking her. She went along with them. It was an adult. And when I spoke to her later that evening, I also asked her what happened when she got to the office, and she stated that she was just sitting in a room. I asked were the people nice to her? Was anyone mean to her? She said no. They offered her a bottle of water and a small pack of crackers, and she said that she cried while she was there. What DFACS is, and of course my child has no idea what DFACS is. So when she got there, she again asked her, "Do you know where you are?" And my daughter said no. They went ahead and took her inside and started asking her questions about her.
It's just insanity. It's just insanity. I encourage you to go over to theblaze.com/radio and listen to the full podcast of the Glenn Beck program and this story about DFACS taking the wrong child from school. And hey guys, an example on how incompetent the government is and how the government is too big. Thanks for listening. This is the Free Stater in Lawrence, Kansas, and next week on the Lanterns Radio Network. Listen to the show over at lanterns.buzz. That's lanterns.buzz, where the show plays on replay every weekday and weekend at 11 a.m. Central Time. Every day throughout the week, you can listen to the replay of the show on the lanterns.buzz radio stream. Aha! 11 a.m. Central Time and 3 a.m. in the morning. Just fantastic times. If you're driving out late, you can listen to the show. And if you're waking up in the morning, driving to work, going to lunch during work, whatever, show's available for you to listen to right there on replay. That's lanterns.buzz. And while you're over there, I encourage you to check out some of the other great shows that the Lanterns Radio Network has to offer. You've got Bells of Liberty, Todd Huff Radio, Battle for Freedom, Patriot Politics, Defenders of American Exceptionalism, The HoloNet, Fires of Liberty, Battlefield Live, The Conservative Syndicate, and many other special programs. You may have heard back during CPAC even, they did a huge live stream, continuous coverage of CPAC. Go to lanterns.buzz for great content. We're here to fix the machine, lanterns.buzz.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.